Hello there and welcome back to some more Grand Theft Auto 3. Today we're continuing on Let's Play. This is episode 38. In today's episode we are taking a look at the final side mission, the import-export in the Portland docks for emergency vehicles. This requires you to get every emergency vehicle in the game and round them up at Portland Harbour. However, before we do that, we do actually need to acquire a couple of those vehicles. You see, the FBI car can only be obtained through getting a 5-star wanted level, and, well, getting the Rhino tank, other than completing the game, it involves getting a 6-star wanted level. So, what's the way to acquire those vehicles at those high wanted levels? It's pretty difficult up there, isn't it? Well, getting the wanted level itself isn't too bad. Simply sit here at the Staunton hideout, it's the best place I found for it, and you can rack up a decent amount of kills here. If you come all the way back here, the law enforcement will never come here. The only thing that will show up are the helicopters, and blowing the helicopters up instantly raises your wanted level. As you can see, wiping out 4 helicopters, I think that was, and like 1 or 2 police officers got me to that 6-star wanted level. Now here comes the task. Basically, you've got to gingerly walk up the walkway here until you can see a Rhino tank, and then try and get the Rhino tank to follow you down here and pick up the police bribes that you have from the vigilante side mission as quick as possible. It can be a bit of a nightmare, and also I guess you could steal the tank directly from the army. I really would not recommend trying to do that though. They have M16, and as far as trying to collect the FBI car from the FBI people, well, there's 4 guys who get out those cars with AK-47s, so yeah, you probably don't want to risk that. Anyways, sort of trying to entice one of those vehicles to come down the ramp. Once they do start coming at you, I do recommend running as fast as possible, as you're about to see, because that picks up a lot of speed, and that is not something you want travelling towards you at high velocity. So try and pick up as many of these wanted bribes as you can. I managed to pick up all of them, thankfully, just as he got out. Guy gets back into the tank, simply carjack it off him because that does unlock the doors, and then try and stick it in your garage as quickly as possible. Also, probably try to run over the army people. They can arrest you, which isn't particularly great. As you can see, rammed it in my garage, also blew up my FBI car by accident, but don't worry, that will regenerate. So there we go. After all that, save the game again. It makes all of your police bribes respawn if you want to go ahead and grab those to wipe out all of your wanted level, and you will have a newly acquired law enforcement vehicle, which is wonderful, of your choice. You can get the Rhino, you can get the FBI car, whatever you need to. I decided to correct the FBI car slightly in my garage here. As you can see, the 2 hardest to find vehicles, FBI car and the Rhino tank, I decided to get those both done and gone first, because, well, that's the easiest way to do it in my mind. The other vehicles can be gained through just standard location finding, as I will show you later. So anyway, as far as where this actual crane is, because the game never actually tells you particularly about the emergency vehicle import-export, there's no list, nothing like that. You sort of need to keep a track on all of the vehicles that you have given to it. So go behind Portland Harbour, you'll see this sort of Yankee here, and in this yellowed off zone you'll see a crane. Simply park the emergency vehicle in there, and it will take your vehicle and drop it off at the ship. Unlike the other import-export places, this isn't exactly a short operation. This crane does take a rather long time to move your vehicle from ground level to the boat, and you do have to sit here for the entire time. Your vehicle can actually despawn from the crane, so you basically need to sit here and make sure that it gets over there, because you really do not want to go through the rigmarole of getting another Rhino tank now, do you? Anyways, once you have dropped off your chosen vehicle at the place, you will get $1,500, and the game is then on to find all 6, I think it is 6 or 7, I don't remember, of the emergency vehicles in the game. Next up, FBI car. As I said, it was in my Staunton garage. Those of you who've watched the actual full-on missions will know I carjacked this during one of Donald Love's missions, and it's actually the same FBI car. I've kept it ever since for this specific purpose, but I was also going to use it for Vigilante on Shoreside Vale, which I did, so that was exactly the same car. Anyways, park it in the little sort of yellow square bit, get the crane to carry it off onto the boat, and then just wait out once again. So how was your weekend? My weekend was pretty good. I say my weekend was pretty good, it's actually Wednesday. No, it's Thursday because it's 1 AM. It's Thursday, it's 1 AM, so, yeah. My weekend hasn't really happened. I don't remember anything that happened on my weekend. Did I get pizza? I don't remember. Oh, I remember. My weekend wasn't very good, actually. Oh, well. Anyways, eventually, the crane will take the FBI car to the boat. There we go. Nice one. Here's your $1,500. That's all you get for all the effort it takes to get two of those vehicles. But do not worry. I'm sure the game will have a lovely reward later on. So finally, onto the vehicles that can actually spawn in. First up, we have the Enforcer. You might think you need to get a 4-star wanted level for this one, but that is not true. Simply go to the Staunton Island police station, carjack the police car outside, and then the Enforcer spawns around the back end. Occasionally it is locked, as are pretty much all of the emergency vehicles when they are spawned in, so do bear that in mind. A short drive later, you'll end up at the Portland Harbour, and once again, you can wait for the crane to agonisingly slowly take your Enforcer away. I wasn't actually sure if you had to stay with the crane while I was doing this, so I'm kind of pleased I sort of stayed with it just out of necessity. I would have cut this all out if it wasn't a necessary thing, but yeah, the crane does take about 30 seconds or so to get the vehicle into the boat. It is a long time. It isn't a short process. It's kind of like pulling teeth, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 emergency vehicles to collect for this. There you go. There's something we can figure out while we're waiting. So that's 3 dropped off. The 3 sort of one, or the 3 ones that people are probably most worried about, I'd imagine, in terms of, you know, their acquirement, how to get them, and so on and so forth. The next vehicle we are getting is the Barracks OL. Once again, not something you need to wait for a 6-star wanted level, simply something you need to get into Phil's place to acquire, which I did here. Apparently I decided to jump the gate. I have actually no idea why I decided to do that, but I did. Also worth noting, you can't actually start the vigilante missions in the Barracks OL. Inferno pointed that out to me in the comment section, so there you go. There's a mistake I made in the Staunton vigilante mission thing, which I'm just making up for now because I really needed something to do while we wait for the fucking crane. Apparently the actual thing was not waiting for me that time around. Also, I was seeing what happened if you shot at the vehicle. I think the bullets go through it. I decided not to shoot at it any further just in case. Wow, waiting for this boat really is something, isn't it? I also wonder how much weight there is in that crane. Probably a lot. Well, it moves cargo containers, of course there's a lot of weight in it. Why is the standard crane sort of like harbour crane rated at weight-wise? Go Google that while we wait for the Barracks OL to take forever to drop onto the boat. The worst bit is actually it doesn't even really drop onto the boat, it just disappears. It makes you sit here and watch that bleeding animation forever, and the animation isn't even that good. It's great. It's not even like San Andreas where you can control the crane and put it back onto the boat. Anyways, enough ranting. It's time to find the next vehicle, fire truck. You can find these from any of the fire stations, of course. I've shown you the locations of all 3 of them for all 3 islands. In the firefighter side mission. I decided to grab the one here in Portland because it is the closest to it. Do bear in mind, don't drive this vehicle through St. Mark's if you have advanced onto the short side of Vale. Do only stick to the back roads. The way I recommend is sort of drive past your hideout, just stick to that road, stick to the right specifically to avoid the triad shooting at you as well, and just loop yourself around and loop back in. And you should be alright. There's a bit of smoke in the fire truck though, so apparently I managed to crash it into something. Not sure what. Man, this really does take a while. I'm going to take a drink. I've upgraded since the paramedic episode. I was drinking some water in that, and now I'm drinking Lucid Energy, powered by glucose, which is to get me through the editing process of this. Also, if I put my voice too close to it, it starts to echo. Fascinating. Anyways, once again, steal the Yankee because that's probably going to be your primary mode of transport. During this, there's not many cars near here. And then finally we moved down to the police car, and that one was locked, but the run across the road was not. I tried to get into the ambulance, but that was locked for some reason. I've never had the ambulance lock on me normally, and that is not something I'm used to requiring, but apparently the ambulance can be locked, so I had to go and get the police car instead, but it's not too much of a biggie, because in Portland, they both spawn right next to each other. And even the police car, which weighs absolutely nothing, we have to wait 15 years for it to actually get onto the boat. I'll take this time to sort of trim something there. Anyways, I hope that didn't make such a nasty noise in the microphone. I don't really care though, so meh. Anyways, I decided not to speed this up just to let you know how agonizing it is to wait for that bleeding crane to lift your newly found emergency vehicle onto the boat. It really does take the piss. And then finally, of course, the ambulance, which spawned at the hospital. I decided to go on a murderous rampage after the thing was locked so many times, so that explains why I've got no armor and why I spawned straight at the hospital. Lovely stuff. Anyways, once again, we're waiting for the crane to come around, but this is the final time it has to do it because I've collected all the cars. So, hooray. But I'm still going to make you sit through this entire crane animation, because if I had to sit through it, you have to sit through it too. Aren't I a wonderful person? Anyways, yeah, this is ridiculous. It really does take so long, and I don't get why. And I'm sure Rockstar engineered this purely for you to never find this. This is technically one of those sort of secret-ish side missions. I think the game tells you about it in one page of mission, but it doesn't actually tell you the location of it or anything like that. And it doesn't give you a list to remember which cars you've got and which ones you haven't. But nevertheless, once you drop all of them off, you're gifted $200,000. You are given a trophy, and now, much like the other import-export places in the game, you can now order any of these vehicles remotely. So, you want a Rhino to go and cause havoc with, you can order it. You want an FBI car to go and run around the world with, you can order that. And enjoy the FBI car, one of the rarest cars in the game. And if for whatever reason you can't find a fire engine, or you're too inept to look for an ambulance, well, you can get one of those as well. Good stuff. It's actually really useful to have the Rhino being able to be spawned on command later in the game. It does help out with a couple of missions, as you've actually seen during the part 2 of the Asuka missions, during the mission SAM. I used quite a few of these, and they were all quite useful. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching this edition of the Grand Theft Auto 3 Let's Play. Do hope you've enjoyed. Next time, we are going to be taking a look at the finale of the game, so join me for that. Until then, a farewell.
Just when I thought I knew justice, I got my me said, you're just been busted.